Peace and prosperity be unto all who's listening and watching. It's your girl, Mayola, right? And I'm back with another video. And today we're just going to talk about insanity and a lot of different things as well. This insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Is knowing your habits and things that you know you need to work on and constantly doing the same thing and expecting something different. The thing about the only problem with certain particular aspects, there's some things in our lives that, like I say, we can't change. And then there's some things in our lives that is easily complained about that we can't change. You can speak on something all day, but if you don't make an effort or, actions towards that, then you're wasting your time, energy, and breath. People waste a lot of time talking about things. People waste a lot of time saying how they're going to do this and that. But the effort isn't a reciprocation of, what you say. And it's not a great reflection of who you are. Honestly, if you want to stop anything, you're going to have to make a dying effort. You're going to have to make some sacrifices. Sometimes these sacrifices may hurt. Sometimes you may have to endure really hard times to overcome the things in which you need to break. I feel, yes, in the world, we do need credit. We need people, to, congratulate us when we're doing good. And always let us know that, what we're doing is great. I get it. That's a part of life. Everybody has some deep desire for that. Me as a giver, somewhere in me, I desire to be appreciated in a way in which I appreciate people. But it's not the same. So it's not a real a sincere requirement in my eyes. It's just something that everybody has a deep desire in themselves and what they want and expect. So let me give you an example. When you were doing bad at one point, you're making bad decisions, real bad decisions. I'm not talking about right now struggling with these habits, these weaknesses that you have. I'm talking about you was really involved in some things and you was going all in for the things that you were involved in, whether that was drugs or selling yourself short, whether you were doing in and out of trouble, in and out of jail. It really didn't matter what you were doing, whether you were an alcoholic or somebody who smoked entirely too much. You were doing something that whether people gave you the recognition for or whether people gave you the good attention for, you were still doing it. Now, that's not to say that because when you were doing these things, these eventually created the habits in which you struggle with now. But when we were all doing certain things in our life at one point, the feeling of what we were doing was never wrong. It wasn't. We got the point. We get to the point where we want something different with our lives, but not everybody who's doing things to themselves or drugs and selling drugs and things like that, not everybody consider it bad. Some people consider it a way of survival and trying to make a ways means for the family. And it's so many ways you can see this from different perspectives. And the things in which we were stuck to, or we are habits of nature, creatures of habit, and the environment in which we grow in is a product of who we are. So we are a product of our environment and the things that happen around us. So a lot of things that has been done, a lot of things that have been done in our lives was based on the choices and the things that we believed and seen around ourselves. And we always had those people in our lives growing up that would say, it's not right to smoke or it's not right to drink, this, and that. No. But they be the main people who would do exactly what they say we shouldn't. They were a bad example of self-representation and self-reflection. because we all grew up in environments of people who would say one thing and do another. Or, people, or grew up around people, go to school with people who would say, that's not good, and they'll do the same thing. Or people who would, do things around us, and because a large amount of people, I don't believe people are influenced by things. I believe people, because there's a large amount of people doing it, and based on the results of how many people do certain things, increases the belief of it. It's not necessarily the influence, because you can't be influenced by anything you don't believe in. That's a fact. Anything you believe, you're going to be influenced by. Anything that, lines up with your subconscious, your conscious, your heart desires, anything that lines with you and who you are at that time in your life will be a belief. So if you were younger and you made mistakes, and it's because a lot of people around you were making those same mistakes, that's because you believed in what you were doing, and the belief of that was like, you saw no wrong in what you were doing because everybody around you and anybody was doing it. And you had your own, and then you also had your own reasons for why you done it yourself. So we don't really see wrong in wrong until it backfires. And sometimes, like, you don't fully learn those lessons until you're much older. So knowing things and never changing, your mistakes, never being accountable for your mistakes is wrong. You got to be somebody who owns up to the things that you're doing, own up to your mistakes and the things that you say and the things that you say you're going to do. And you want to live up to that standard mark of yourself. But also you want to make sure that what you want is a reflection of who you are. You can't just go around telling people to do this, do that, and be this and be that, and no, and you're like doing this and that. You never justify what you're doing and then like try to unjustify what somebody else is doing. It's no one wrong is greater than the other. Wrong is wrong. No matter which wrong it is, it's all wrong. You know what I'm saying? So don't make justification for things. You want to be open-minded in that you want to use information that you've obtained to help yourself be a better person. And the fact about this is, when you learn new things, like me personally, when I learn something I've been saying is wrong for a very long time, or when I learned that I've been making a certain mistake in certain spellings or certain anything, I automatically correct that mistake so that I can put a habit on top of another habit, because we are creatures of habit and we are prone and products of our environment. So we can only decide what we want best or better for our lives. So you have to learn to decide what else you want for you. And if you're sincere, because it's a difference between people who are sincere and people who are not, and the thing about that is people who are willing to commit. It's some people out here really afraid of commitment, afraid of committing. The word itself puts fear and anxiety in people's hearts and in people's minds. And when you decide things in your life, you want to commit to them. So deciding for yourself is the first step into doing anything. But you gotta have a way of committing. That's a form of being loyal to yourself. That's a form of self-love in itself. Your ability to commit to the things that you say you want, but also be a reflection of what you say you want, and also capitalize and take massive actions towards the things you want. So it's like taking the knowledge in which you've learned and sharing it, giving it back to the world. So giving what was given to you back to the universe. It's being a endless abundant flow of information, but also growth. You want to be somebody who is definitely about being greater. Not being greater than everybody else, but being greater than who you were yesterday. Being greater than yourself. Being greater than that person years ago. Being greater than, your habits being greater than your weaknesses, being greater than your addictions, being greater in every aspect that you can be, and being that great person all around. Because we decide for ourselves what life we want to live. And every point and season of phase in our life is a stage of belief. Whatever we're doing now, it's because we believe. We believe in what may come of the things that we're doing. Like, we don't do things because we just do things. We do things because we believe in the things that we do. Compulsive liars don't lie just because they believe it gets them ahead. They truly believe that their lying is helping them. So every condition of the mind is a form of belief in oneself, and one truly believes in the things in which they know, because if they didn't, the habit would have been easily broken. So stubbornness comes from the form of believing, because in a sense you want to be strong on your beliefs, but you gotta know what beliefs to let go. Some beliefs in which you believe are not very healthy or good for you. You shouldn't hold on to things that don't make you transpire. Okay, we live in a world where there's amazing abundant things happening, and there's endless opportunities for growth, but we stick to our same belief systems. We stick to our same beliefs that, and just because you've done something for the last 20 years, based on all the information you acquired or obtained, and that's what you've learned, just because that's what you've learned doesn't mean that's something that is, you gotta be like wise in knowing that some of the things, even if you obtain them and that's all you learn throughout the years, some information doesn't suit you best. Some things are ways of shortcuts. If you find yourself doing things that are just shortcuts, they have not got you ahead, why are you still doing those things? Like, they're not getting you ahead, they're shortcuts. Okay, it's many shortcuts in this life. There's many paths to walk in this life, but you have to choose a path that is worthy for you. Okay, so be true to yourself. Value commitment, because that is what people are missing. Commitment, because people are barely committed to themselves. So if people are barely committed to themselves, imagine who they're barely committed to in the world. People, you got to be committed to your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, the things in which you say and desire. You got to live it out, because I know those patterns of being a reflection comes a lot from our childhood. We had a lot of people in our lives growing up. They say don't smoke, don't drink, and they would drink and they would smoke. They say no, that's wrong, that's right, right, and they would do wrong in the things in which they said we shouldn't do. I know a lot of these are beliefs, and I know a lot of these were taught, and I know a lot of you guys can overcome them. So stop believing in those things. Stop believing those things that aren't true. Stop believing in things that don't serve your purpose, and stop letting things hinder you, because you're amazing. And if you don't know how amazing you are, I'm telling you, you're great. You're beyond what you've allowed yourself to be. And if you don't step up, no one will step up for you. And that's a fact. Now, hey, you guys, comment down below. Tell me how you guys doing. Tell me something that you guys have been working on. What have you guys been working on? Like, what is your big projects? Something that you're working on. Make sure you subscribe, comment, like this video, and share with a friend if you know somebody who needs this information. I hope I'm always giving you guys valuable feedback on the things that transpire in my mind. I had another great idea and some more great videos, but we're gonna take it one step at a time. We're not gonna rush things. We're gonna get information out in the proper time in which it needs to be given. So love you guys. Have a great day. Let's live in the abundance.